The champagne flute slipped from my father's hand before it shattered. The sound was sharp, like the crack of a bone. Every head in the room turned. The man who'd spent my entire life calling me a disappointment was pale, frozen. And then the words cut through the hum of wedding chatter like a blade. Holy shit, she's on the news! On the giant TV in the hotel bar, my face filled the screen. Not in uniform, not in the black polo with security stitched across the chest like my father always reminded people. No. Tonight, the headline under my face read, "Local Woman Foils International Smuggling Ring." The news anchor's voice bled into the wedding hall. Undercover for 18 months, critical intelligence shared with federal agencies. I didn't move, didn't smile. I just let the silence grow heavier. I hadn't been invited to this wedding, not until my little brother insisted. "Come on, you're still family," he'd said, not knowing the years of rot beneath those words. My father's third marriage, another young bride, barely older than me, wearing her new diamonds like armor. When he spotted me at the reception, his eyes narrowed, his jaw tightening before the fake smile appeared. "Look who's here," he'd said to the table. "The security guard." Laughter followed. The polite kind, the kind people use when they're agreeing with someone's insult without thinking too hard. I let it slide, not because it didn't sting, but because I had a far better weapon than words. Years earlier, I'd tried to be the daughter he could be proud of. University, scholarships, dreams bigger than the little town we were from. But then my mother died, and my father remarried before the dirt on her grave had settled. The new wife hated me, said I was a drain. He believed her. When I left home, it wasn't for a glamorous career. I took the first job I could get, night security at a shipping yard. He never let me forget it. Every phone call was another reminder that I was wasting my life, that I couldn't even get a real job. What he didn't know was that the job wasn't what it seemed. It started small, anomalies in the logs, containers with forged manifests. One night, I caught a man trying to slip into a restricted zone. His ID checked out, but something about his eyes told me otherwise. I filed the report. 2 days later, 2 men in dark suits showed up in the break room. Federal agents. They told me they'd been tracking a smuggling operation for months. Weapons, drugs, human cargo. They needed eyes inside, someone invisible to the criminals because they were too busy underestimating her. That was me. 18 months of playing the part, logging containers, memorizing faces, passing information in ways that looked like nothing. I wore the uniform like a disguise, and every time my father mocked it, I let him, because I knew what was coming. The bust went down 3 weeks ago. Dozens arrested. The story was everywhere, except I'd stayed quiet, per the agreement. Until tonight. I'd timed it perfectly. The wedding reception was full. The TV in the adjoining bar always played the evening news. When my segment started, it was like pulling the pin from a grenade and letting it roll across the dance floor. I watched my father's face go from smug to stunned to something else. Recognition. Shame. His bride blinked between us, confused. Guests whispered. The anchor's voice kept talking about heroism and critical undercover intelligence. "Guess it's not just a security guard job," I said softly, raising my glass. No one laughed this time. He tried to speak, something about being proud, about not knowing. But the thing about a man like my father is, his pride doesn't recover from being proven wrong in public. And I didn't give him the dignity of a response. I left him standing there, shards of glass at his feet, champagne soaking into the carpet. Outside, the night air was cool. Somewhere inside, the party was still trying to restart, but I knew the moment had landed. He would never live it down. And I'd done my job. Twice. The first was taking down a smuggling ring. The second was letting my father see, too late, that the daughter he'd belittled was the one he should have been bragging about all along. I didn't need his pride. I had my own. And that was enough.